It's been an Arizona basketball season like no other. Caught in the middle of an FBI college basketball bribery scandal that's rocked the sport, resulting in the dismissal of assistant coach Book Richardson.
In our best attempt to always have a great life and be perfect, sometimes the unexpected can happen.
The bombshell is coming out, so to speak.
And an ESPN report calling into question the recruiting practices of Coach Sean Miller.
I have never arranged or directed payment or any improper benefits to a recruit or prospect or their family or representative, and I never will.
Add to that a season-opening injury to star sophomore Raleigh Alkins and more adversity for junior guard Alonzo Trier. But Arizona has picked up the pieces.
Our team's just been resilient all year. And, we've taken a lot of punches.
And the Wildcats are set to make a run in the NCAA tournament, doing so with Pac-12 Player of the Year, DeAndre Ayton. This is Arizona basketball march to Alamo City. Hi and welcome. I'm KGUN 9 Sports Director Jason Barr.
And I'm Erica Weston, and we're here to get you ready for the upcoming NCAA tournament. Arizona opens against Buffalo on Thursday, and here are the Cats leaving for Boise. They drew the 4 seed in the South.
Yeah, it's been a difficult draw for the Wildcats. We're going to explain why, but first, a look at the Cats' first-round opponent, the Buffalo Bulls. The Bulls are the Mid-Atlantic Conference champions. They are 26-8 and have won 6 games in a row. But then again, they don't face teams that start 2 7-footers. Guard C.J. Massenberg averages 17 points per game.
They play a style that's difficult to defend. They strike in transition, and they know how to win. We're dealing with a confident team, a team that I'm sure is able to beat anybody on their schedule, including us, and we have to be ready to go.
Bulls coach Nate Oates was an assistant at Buffalo for now ASU coach Bobby Hurley, and Oates shares Hurley's motivational skills and confidence as well.
They're talented. I mean, it's going to be a war for sure. I told our bigs, you want to be a pro. I mean, Ayton might be the #1 pick in the draft. So I will say this, though. Usually win in the NCAA tournament with guards, and I like our guard play against them.
All right, so it's Arizona against Buffalo Thursday, 6:40 Tucson time in Boise, and we can watch the game from back here on CBS.
All right, now just about everybody projected Arizona to get a #4 seed, just not in the South region.
Yeah, Erica, we're with such a tough draw ahead. All right, let's take a look at the bottom of the bracket here. If the Wildcats get past Buffalo, they are looking at perennial powerhouse Kentucky in the second round.
After that, there is a potential Sweet 16 matchup against Virginia, the tournament's #1 overall seed. But then Arizona got what looked to be a great draw last year and lost in the Sweet 16. Here is Raleigh Alkins on what some are calling a brutal draw.
The teams that we can possibly face, we were probably going to face them either way. So to see them, I mean, it's just basketball. They made the NCAA tournament for a reason, so it's just basketball.
Well, no team or head coach has had as much drama as Sean Miller and Arizona basketball this season. Here's a look back at a 2017-18 campaign no one could have imagined.
I think everybody's just drained mentally, physically.
Arizona's path to another conference title was unlike any year in Wildcat history.
A sweeping federal corruption case involving the U of A. Assistant basketball coach Emmanuel Book Richardson arrested on federal bribery charges.
The program and college basketball were rocked last fall when news of the FBI's investigation into corruption broke.
We're just gonna work hard to have the best team we can, to do things the right way, like I mentioned in my statement.
The bombshell saw Arizona lose their assistant coach and quite possibly a voice to the players. Prior to the season, Arizona was in Barcelona for preseason games during a terrorist attack. Thankfully, all teams participating were safe. They also lost their heart and hustle of their team, Raleigh Alkins, to a broken foot, who then missed the first 9 games of the season.
And a lot of
ovation as Raleigh Alkins checks in.
But the drama didn't end there. Senior Keanu Pinder and assistant coach Mark Phelps were suspended for a violation of NCAA rules unrelated to the FBI investigation. Dylan Smith also was suspended for a violation of team rules. Then another bombshell report dropped in late February, this time from ESPN.
Breaking news right now, ESPN reports Coach Sean Miller may have discussed paying $100,000 to ensure star freshman DeAndre Ayton would sign with the Wildcats.
And not long after, star guard Alonzo Trier was ruled ineligible for a second time for a second positive performance-enhancing drug test. Both Trier and Miller were absent in Arizona's game at Oregon.
While I have done nothing wrong, I am responsible for our men's basketball program, and I am sickened that we are in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons.
Trier was cleared the same day that University President Dr. Robbins threw his support behind Coach Miller, and Arizona clinched the Pac-12 regular season title 2 days later. The 2017-18 Wildcats could be known as the team that finally breaks through to Sean Miller's first Final Four. But the question remains, years from now, will it still count?
Well, a lot of great players have played their home games at McHale.
Yeah, but none quite like DeAndre Ayton. What Ayton may do this spring that no other Wildcat has yet to accomplish. That's next on March to Alamo City, right here on KGUN9.com. But first, DeAndre Ayton had a 26-point, 20-rebound performance against Cal on senior night. Who is the last Arizona player to have a 20-20 game? The answer when Arizona basketball March to Alamo City continues. All right, so who was the last Wildcat before DeAndre Ayton to have a 20-20 game? Al Fleming had 22 points and 23 rebounds against Old Dominion. That was back in December of 1975.
Well, as we mentioned, a lot of great players have laced up their sneakers at McHale, but none quite like Arizona's DeAndre Ayton. Ayton was named a finalist for the Naismith Award, which is given to the nation's best player.
Arizona's about to shut it down.
Hammers home. Look at Ayton. Drops it out to DeAndre.
71 NBA draft picks. You're reminded of that every time there's a home game at McHale. And for Arizona, none higher than the second overall pick. But star freshman DeAndre Ayton can quickly change that come draft day in June.
You know, he's a once-in-a-generation player. I doubt if I'll ever coach anyone like him again.
Ayton surprised college basketball nearly 2 years ago when he chose to play at Arizona, and he promised Coach Miller a championship.
He's going to be a player that I think will go down as one of the great ones to play our game.
Ayton charmed Tucson early on, not just with his physical size and ability, but with his humor too.
You already have like a lot of people that you know that are going to be there?
Some of these people I don't even know. You know?
On several preseason watch lists, Ayton averaged a double-double his freshman season.
Spectacular. I hope everybody in McHale realizes what 23 points and 19 rebounds feels like for a freshman.
And finished the regular season with a game against Cal in which he notched the first 20-20 game for Arizona since 1975. Ayton also locked up Pac-12 Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year with more awards to come.
I just have a hard time believing that there's anybody better than him.
And if the Wildcats go as Ayton goes,
Money.
they'll be looking at a deep run in March and Ayton locking up that #1 overall draft pick come June.
We have a weapon that pretty much nobody in the country has.
All right, so the Wildcats are headed to Boise, where it's just a few degrees cooler there.
Chief Meteorologist Aaron Christensen is taking a look at what diehard fans can expect if they're headed north to support the team and what the patio weather looks like here in Tucson.
Well, I tell you what, guys, just as the competition is heating up, the weather is going to be cooling down. Downright wintry weather await our Wildcats in Idaho. Our radar already seeing rain there now, and it will be a mixture of some rain and snow by the weekend. A 30% 50% chance for rain on Thursday with a high of just 50 degrees, 40% chance for rain on Friday, and a 40% chance of a mix of rain and snow and sleet Saturday, and a 30% chance of that same wintry mix come Sunday with highs in the 40s there over the weekend. And 46 degrees at the time of tip-off Thursday. Again, 30% chance those Cats will run into some rain heading to or from the game. Now, if you're sticking around Tucson cheering on our Cats from your outdoor patio, 68 degrees at 6 o'clock. The game, of course, tipping off at 6:40. So right around that time, 7 o'clock, 64, partly cloudy to mostly clear skies at 8 p.m. with 63 degrees. I am loving this trivia you guys have for us.
All right, thank you, Aaron. There's actually more where that came from in just a little bit. You know, it was a senior day surprise. Dusan Ristic unveiling his Dusan Loves Tucson shirt.
Plus, a tradition Sean Miller changed. That's next. But first, this season, Dusan Ristic became the winningest player in Arizona history. Which two Wildcats were previously tied for the record? The answer when March to the Alamo City continues. Record did Dusan Ristic break to become the winningest player in Arizona history? It's Matt Muehlbach and Caleb Tarczewski. They each played in 110 victories. Well, Dusan loves Tucson, and Tucson loves him back, especially since the senior is playing the best basketball of his career heading into the tournament. Here's a look back at Dusan's 4 years in red and blue.
He's kind of that Sesame Street character. You know, one of these kids is doing his own thing.
It wasn't an easy start to his time at Arizona for senior Dusan Ristic. His name rhymed with Tucson, but would he be a fit for the Wildcats?
You're supposed to be here, you're not. You're supposed to run the court, you're not. You're supposed to do this when you get in the post, you're not.
The four-star recruit out of high school came to Tucson from Serbia and barely spoke any English. But he was a big guy with a tremendous offensive touch that Sean Miller hoped would grow into one of his leaders one day.
When he told me that, I took it as a positive thing, you know.
Dusan has never been the first option for big guys in Tucson. Early on, he shared the air up there with Caleb Tarczewski, then last year with Lauri Markkanen, and this year with DeAndre Ayton. But it's not just his English and his basketball ability that's grown here in the desert. It's his confidence, too.
I don't talk about him nearly enough. You know, you get a player like him, and you always hope that they develop into something special because he works so hard. He's our team's heart and soul in a lot of ways.
Dusan has translated his success into Arizona's all-time wins leader and one of Arizona's senior voices.
We talk about how this is our last chance here, you know, our last chance to make something, you know, big here, you know, to fulfill our goals, to go to Final Four, compete for the national championship.
All right, Lute Olson's presence will always be felt at McHale Center, and April 12th will be the date of the Lute Olson statue dedication.
Here's what the statue will look like. It will be located north of the Jim Click Hall of Champions. The event is invite only. The statue is being constructed to honor Coach Olson for his contributions not just on the court, but in the Tucson community. It coincides with the 30th anniversary of the beloved 1988 team, Olson's first Final Four team with Arizona.
Yeah, I really feel honored. I put in a lot of hard work in the 24 years, and as you probably know, the year before I came here, Ben Lindsay was 1-17 in the Pac-10, and so there was a lot of rebuilding to do.
All right, running through the stands, cutting down the nets, and breaking from tradition. It was a senior day to remember.
I can't imagine that any arena this weekend could have had more pageantry, more electricity than McHale Center.
During Arizona's Pac-12 winning season-ending victory over Cal, Dusan Ristic delivered the first surprise, a Dusan Loves Tucson t-shirt from the program's all-time winningest player.
I was wondering where he got it. You know, I wish I had one.
The Wildcats first celebrated their regular season title with a trip through the stands, high-fiving their fans. Then honoring the seniors, Tyler Trio, Keanu Pinder, Dusan Ristic, and Parker Jackson Cartwright.
I can't believe, you know, this day is finally here, but, you you know, surreal, and I'm glad I was able to share it with my family, friends, and teammates.
Sean Miller then broke with tradition, introducing not just the seniors, but other stars as well, bringing up Raleigh Alkins, Alonzo Trier, and DeAndre Ayton. Miller explaining why he recognized the 3 players headed to the NBA.
What it used to be sometimes isn't today. You have to adjust with the times, and you know, those guys deserved an ovation, just like, you know, the seniors, because they're not going to play in McHale again.
Then, after celebrating with a banner and plaque, Arizona began the tradition of cutting down the nets. One by one, the Wildcats each took a snippet, afterwards admitting they were worn out from all the adversity of the season.
We always respond in the right way. Never get down on ourselves, never feel sorry for ourselves. We kind of just, you know, keep grinding, and you know, to cut down the nets at home this year with all we've been through is really special.
The last to do so, Sean Miller, able to smile after a long season.
It means a lot to him. I know it does. You know, I've been around him a lot. You know, he doesn't always show his, you know, his true emotion, but I know for him, this is where he wanted to be. This is where he needs to be, and you know, for him, I just think it's a great time for him, and it's special.
A heartfelt thank you to everybody who is here to make it extraordinarily special for our program and for our team.
Well, this has been an emotional season for Wildcat basketball, especially these past couple of weeks, which is why many fans of Arizona basketball can probably relate to this sign. This is the Bubble Bath Car Wash marquee on Fort Lowell and Mountain. Management there clearly not a fan of that report that had us all holding our breaths on Miller's future. Now, if you haven't already booked your ticket to Boise to see the Wildcats play, the clock is ticking.
As 9 on your side's Max Darrow reports, despite not playing in Southern California, Wildcats support will still be strong.
Boise is just a bit too far for a lot of the students here on campus. They tell me the trip would just be too expensive. However, they say the energy here on campus during game time will be electric.
The atmosphere is crazy. It's nothing else is like it in the country. It's just amazing being able to see everybody when something happens, like Raleigh, Duncan. It's crazy. It's amazing.
Many fans, like Dylan Kent, will flock to University Boulevard to bear down and support their Wildcats.
I can't wait until going down to see them at the bar and watch the games. It's going to be crazy.
Boise isn't the location that some fans wanted. Many thought the Cats would play in San Diego. Between travel costs and ticket prices, it's just too much for some.
I want to, but it takes a real steep. Boise is just a bit far from Arizona.
Still, some are confident the arena will be packed with Wildcat red and blue on Thursday.
I have no doubt that our fans will travel very well.
That's including Wildcat guard Raleigh Alkins.
I think that we have great fans, so they're probably going to travel no matter where we go. So we have the best fans in the country.
These fans think this team has what it takes for a serious shot at the national title.
With DeAndre Ayton, he's a beast, so I think he's a stud, and he's going to take us all the way this year.
We have a great starting five, and our bench has been playing solid throughout the whole year, so I think we got a good shot.
Arizona's big dance tips off at 6:40 on Thursday night versus Buffalo. Max Darrow, KGON 9 on your side.
It was on March 1st against Stanford. A standing ovation from the McHale Center crowd following a one-game absence. We'll look back at the top moments of the season when we come back.
But first, DeAndre Ayton could be the #1 selection in this spring's NBA draft. What's the highest any Wildcat has been selected? The answer when Arizona basketball marched to the Alamo City continues.
So what's the highest any Wildcat has ever been selected in the NBA draft? Mike Bibby went #2 to Vancouver in 1998, and Derek Williams also went #2. Minnesota drafted Williams. That was in 2011. Arizona Associate Head Coach Lorenzo Romar will be named the head coach at Pepperdine. Romar used to coach the Waves. Before going to Pepperdine, Romar will remain with Arizona through the NCAA tournament.
We're elated for Lorenzo. We didn't know how long he would be here for. Clearly, if he had an opportunity as good as Pepperdine, it's something that he has to take, and we're excited for him. He's done an excellent job in the year that he's been with us, and he's really helped guide the ship.
All right, you know, earlier in the show, Erica, we looked back at some of the more challenging moments of this Arizona season.
But of course, there were some really great moments as well. Here are the top 5 moments of this year's Wildcat season.
All right, let's start with number 5. The Wildcats knocking off then undefeated ASU in the Pac-12 conference opener. This was the most anticipated Arizona ASU game in years. DeAndre Ayton had that 23-point, 19-rebound performance, preventing the Sun Devils from what would have been a #1 ranking.
Moment number 4, I honestly think this one should be higher. It's Brawley Alkin's dunk in the Pac-12 tournament title game. He was not going to be denied over Elijah Stewart. He had a family, Raleigh. It was filthy in the win over USC.
That was a good one. Moment 3, Sean Miller standing O. He was given a rousing applause by the McKell Center crowd before a game against Stanford. Miller's first since that ESPN wiretapping report.
Moment number 2, DeAndre Ayton's performance in the Pac-12 tournament. Back-to-back 30-plus point games and wins over UCLA and USC. Ayton was absolutely unstoppable in leading the Wildcats to another title win in Las Vegas, their 3rd in 4 years.
Drum roll, please. Moment number 1, the senior day at McKell to remember, running through the stands, the Tucson Loves Tucson shirt, and cutting down the nets. Some special moments that are not soon going to be forgotten. This after defeating Cal to clinch the Pac-12 regular season title in front of the hometown fans. Arizona basketball is going to leave a tough season behind, one with controversy and scandal. But first, the Wildcats are headed to Boise in an attempt to get back to the Final Four.
And of course, we will continue to follow the Wildcats on the road to San Antonio right here online and on KGUN 9. I'm Erica Weston.
And I'm KGUN 9 Sports Director Jason Barr. Thank you so much for watching Arizona basketball march to Alamo City. And a special thank you to everybody at the Forum in Tucson for sponsoring our program, 5 Star Senior Living. We hope everybody has a good night and enjoys the game. Good night, everybody.